Good morning everybody. I am Venkatashmi, teaching English, Jain Principal of Conference. I am going to deal with a poem for Gregory by William Butler Yeats. Actually, this poem is a conversation between a young man and a young woman. This may be even Butler Yeats and girl named Gregory. It's about the conventional idea of beauty. Before going to the poem, let's have a brief introduction to the poet William Butler Yeats. He lived between 1865 and 1939. He was an Irish poet, dramatist and a writer. He was interested in folklore and mythology, and he won a Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. And most of his well-known works were written after he received the Nobel Prize. And he also wrote the introduction to Tagore's famous poem Gita. About the conventional idea of beauty, how he brought out in his poem for Gregory. That's what this 3 stanzas poem is. Nowadays, we have been seeing so many advertisements on beauty products, ranging from makeup, skin care, nail care, hair care to perfume songs. No doubt these beauty products will do a bit in making our physical appearance shine and glitter. But of course this is not permanent and it's only a temporary. And what is permanent is, it's the inner beauty, that is our qualities, good nature, our action and our behavior. And before going to that conventional idea of beauty, let's have a bit talk on objects. Suppose you want to buy an object. Suppose you want to buy a car, or you want to buy a mobile phone, or a dress for yourself. What do you look for? What would you emphasize? Suppose you went to market to buy a car. Don't you see first of all the color? It should be pleasing to you. And the company, maybe type of the car, and the mileage. And suppose you want to buy a mobile phone. You'll see the memory of it, and the features of the phone, and then company of course. And if you want to buy a dress for you, do you see the texture, the material, the longevity of it, and the color, all these things. These are nothing but the qualities of the objects. Then what about the people? When you want to buy an object, you are going for all these qualities of that object. You are emphasizing it. Then what about the people? When you see a person for the first time, when you see a person, oh, this man is handsome, and this lady is very beautiful. When you say, what do you see in that person? Is it the height or the weight of that person? Or eyes, nose, and complexion of skin, all this? Isn't it a physical beauty? When you see a lady is very beautiful, the same thing, the complexion of the skin, or her hairstyle, or eyes, nose, all this. It's the physical features only. Right. So, when you see a person, at first sight, it is only the physical features and the physical beauty that you are appreciating. But when you make friend with that person, or when you live with that person for a period of time, then that time you come to know about the nature of that person, how he or she behaves, her good nature, her qualities, what she is worthy of, all this. That is what is the inner beauty, which is permanent. So, here in this poem, our William Butler Yeats is emphasizing that inner beauty. It says it is the inner beauty of that person that we have to look for. And it is that makes a person lovable rather than the physical features or the physical appearance or external beauty. Let us see how he brings out that. First, the synopsis of the poem. This poem is a conversation between a young man and a young woman about what we look for in a person. Generally, young men see the physical beauty such as eyes, nose, color of hair and complexion of the skin, etc. in young women. Emphasizing this, the poet expounds that God alone loves people for themselves as they are and not for their handsome features. So he says generally men look for the physical beauty. Let's see how he brings out that. This is the first stanza. The poem has 3 stanzas. This is the first stanza of the poem. And as you see, the stanza is around a fort. And here the poet says the girl has honey-colored ramparts at her ear. So he is identifying these two unlikely objects one with the other. He says that this honey-colored hair falls over her ear so beautifully and almost enveloping her entire structure of the ears. So he says it's like the ramparts of a fort. So these two unlikely objects, one is the hair and another is the ramparts, these two are identified with one another. The literary device here is metaphor. And then further he says, these young men are never love you for yourself alone and not your yellow hair. He says these young men love you not for yourself but for your yellow hair. So here the yellow hair refers to her physical beauty. So in this first stanza, what he wants to convey to the young woman is that young men love her for her physical beauty and not for her internal beauty or the inner beauty which she is working of. And the second stanza, it's like a reply to the first stanza. She gives a response to the speaker in the first stanza, the young woman. She says, the speaker here is the young woman. She says, but I can get a hair dye and set such a color there, brown or black or carrot, that young man in despair may love me for myself alone and not my color of hair. So she says, if I was noticed by my color of hair, I can have a hair dye. I can set any color that the young man fancy. I can set any brown or black or carrot. All these refer to the color of the hair. I can set any color they fancy. But do this young man love me for myself, love me for what I am, love my inner beauty, and not my color of my hair, not my physical beauty. So what the lady here desires for is, she wants young man love for herself. She says, I have my hair. Let my young man love me for what I am and not for my physical beauty. So that is what she values. And then third stanza is almost like a conclusion. And here once again it is within the inverted commas, referring that it is the actual words of the speaker. Here the speaker is once again the young man only. And he concludes here by making a reference to a religious man and then a religious text. He says, I heard an old religious man by yesterday night declare that he had found a text to prove that only God, my dear, could love you for yourself alone and not your little hair. So by making a reference to a religious man, he says, this religious man says he had found a text in which it is declared that only God loves people for themselves as what they are. And only he is capable of looking beyond the external beauty. And it is the tendency of the men to look for only the physical beauty. And only God is able to love you for yourself alone and not your ego. Once again, ego refers to the physical beauty. So this is how he concludes. And then, as this poem says, the theme of the poem is, humans are always carried away by the shine and glitter of outer beauty. And they never came to know the person behind the beautiful appearance. And therefore, the poet in the poem conveys that we should give importance to the inner beauty or not to the physical appearance. He gives a reference of an old and religious man who announced that he had found a text that declared only God is capable of looking beyond external beauty. So, when we come back to the right scale, we have seen the poetic device in the first stanza that the poet used the metaphor, the two unlikely objects, that is a hair, he identified with the ramparts. And when we come to the right scale, I have taken the first stanza. Here, never shall a young man thrown into despair by those great honey-colored ramparts at your ear, love you for yourself alone and not your hair. Here, despair, ear and hair, these three rhyme with one another, so I gave B. In other words, man, colored, alone, they don't rhyme with any other word. So, AB, CB and DB. This is the rhyme scheme followed in the poem. AB, CB, DB. This is only as an example I have shown you, and other stanzas also follow the same. Next point is The tone of the poem. What is the tone of the poem? It is very light and relaxed. It seems that the young woman and the young man here are merely having a conversation. Of course, over an issue they disagree with each other. But this disagreement doesn't turn into a heated argument. It is neither aggressive nor disheartened at such a thought that the poet is conveying through this poem. And coming to the last, I want you to think over these points. A parent's love for a mentally or physically challenged child, or for a clever child or prodigy. The public's love for a film star, a sportsman, or a politician. Your love for a friend or a brother or a sister. Your love for a pet and a pet's love for you. And your love for an object. What do you think this love is? Do you think the parent's love for a mentally challenged child or physically challenged child is biased, and does it change over a period of time? Or if you take a child, clever child or prodigy, is it a conditional love or unconditional love? Or if you go to a film star or a sportsman or a politician, what do you think the love, public's love is? For example, if you take this film star or a sportsman or politician, the public will have some expectations for that person. As long as that film star or sportsman is fulfilling their expectations, no doubt he remains first in their heart. But once that person doesn't satisfy their expectations, it's natural that that person may be replaced by yet another person. So do you call it a conditional love or unconditional love? What is it? Think about other things also. Your friend or brother or a sister, you may be having a pet animal. What's your love for your pet animal? Or your pet animal's love for you, or for an object. All these points I want you to keep in mind and think of. Thank you.